What's your name?
My title is Chief Micheal.
And is that the name that you go by?
That's my title, yes.
What's his legal name?
What's your legal name?
That would be private information.
And you're not willing to provide that?
It's private. It has no bearing on the matter.
Then how can he represent this person?
I am not representing. We talked about this already, Mr. Zenit, whatever your name is. I am not representing. I'm advocating.
And if the individual showing as Nishka here is not the tenant, but representing the estate of, who died?
Well, the legal name is a dead entity, as you know. Probably you don't, but
no, I don't. So is Nishka Green dead, deceased? And do I have a death certificate?
Nishka is not dead. Nishka Green is a fictitious entity. Nishka is the living woman that's here alongside me, and I'm going to be presenting on behalf of her and the estate, Nishka Green.
And so we're not talking about anybody being deceased, though, correct?
No, or else we'd be at the probate court.
Pardon?
Or else we'd be at probate court, which deals with estates. So we're at landlord tenant court today.
So the question is, I do not have the death, physical death of Nishka Green. Is that correct?
Nishka Green is an entity, fictitious entity. Nishka is a living sentiment. I'm here with Nishka, and on behalf of Nishka Green, the estate, which is the all caps.
Who lived in the rental unit? Who lives in the rental unit?
Nishka.
And
Nishka
are you
domiciled in the rental unit?
So, sir, I'm just going to call it the rental unit. That's the terminology I'm familiar with, and I haven't had anything before me that suggests otherwise. So I'll call it the rental unit. Who's on the lease agreement? The name on the lease agreement is whom?
I'm going to upload the tenancy agreement for you in just a moment, Madam Chair.
That's great. Okay.
But it's Nishka Green.
So let me just take a look here. All right, let me just get this file in front of me. Is there any point in having a private consult on this, Representative Zarnett?
Madam Chair, I think that you can see where the private consult will go. Unfortunately, the tenant has raised a number of legal issues in their request to review. We're ready to deal with every one of them, and there is no serious error in the board member's determination.
Okay. I'm just going to get a few things up in front of me, and I encourage the tenant to do the same thing.
Again, Madam Chair, someone who's speaking for someone is a representative, and if the representative who, if they're not licensed by the Law Society of Ontario, they're not entitled to be here. Not providing their name is a reason to not entitle that person to be here. They can go by any name they would like within, not any name, but generally I don't have a problem in using a preferred name. However, a legal name of a representative is required in my respectful submission.
If I may, Ms. Adjudicator, that's...
No, stop. I'm not finished yet.
Okay.
Okay. So, individual Chief Micheal, do you have a legal name?
My legal name would not be relevant. That would be a fictitious entity. I am an Indigenous man. I am here today under the provision of Section 26(1), subsection 5 of the Law Society Act that grants the provision to non-licensees to advocate on behalf of individuals. Secondly, I am Indigenous. I am not under the 14th Amendment contract known as the birth certificate. I am a living man, full life, soul, flesh, and blood. I don't stand statute to codes, bylaws, or legislations. I govern by the 7 commanded principles of life. You may want to do your research.
I've done my research.
Good to hear.
Thank you for putting me on notice. Much appreciated. Okay, so I'm going to just do a little bit of reading here, I just want to refresh my memory on the licensee provision. So we're at 147. Just give me a minute and I'm going to come back and I'm going to join you. Just be available, okay? So I want to make sure that you don't go anywhere. When I come back, I will give you the next steps or what we're going to attempt to accomplish. So I will be right back.
I hope we don't have to spend an hour on this today again.
You might. So just putting you on notice. The notice told you to come prepared to spend the day. So I will be right back and I will deal with this as quickly as I can.
Recording stopped.
Tenancy agreement. Let me just deal with this first. So I'm going to share my screen. So just bear with me. And then I'm going to be taking some submissions here in a minute too as well. All right. So individual Nishka, can you see my screen okay? You can see it. If you need me to make it bigger, I can do that. Now, this is a residential tenancy agreement to live at 190 Clark Apartments Limited. Is this you? Did you sign this lease agreement under the name Nishka Green? I'll scroll down. Just don't answer until I get to the bottom.
I think
Scrolling.
Ms. Giles, I don't seem to have a signed copy. Do you have a signed copy of this, Ms. Giles?
Yes, I believe we do.
Can you send me the signed copy right now, please?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so while we're doing that, then I'm just going to park that just for a minute, okay? Now let me go back to Chief Micheal. So Chief Micheal, when you look at the role of a non-licensed representative, the board has the right to control its own process, okay? And part of that process is the ability to do certain things where there might be, for example, if costs are awarded against someone for conduct, so on and so forth. For that, I need a first and last name. And so if the challenge here is, absolutely, you can go by a preferred name if that's your choice, but the challenge here is that the failure to give me a first and last name might defeat the board's ability to control its own process. So it might restrict your ability to participate today.
No,
Do you want to provide me with your first and last name?
No, it will not affect my ability to participate today because you know why? I've already told you I'm operating outside of the capacity of a corporate person, fictitious entity. I'm a living man, I'm an indigenous man, and I've already gave my delegation of authority under the provisions of Section 26(1), Chapter 5 of the Law Society Act. That's who govern the law societies. It gives the provisions for a non-lawyer to appear. It did not say I have to give a first or a last name or forced into being a part of an organization that I don't want to be. I'm not a citizen, not a resident. I'm a non-status Indian.
There's no evidence of that.
I'm coming to you, please, Representative Zarnett. So Chief Micheal, so I explained to you that, the board has to control its own process, right? And for all kinds of different reasons, we do need representatives to provide a first and a last name.
I'm not a representative. There's a difference.
So what are you? What is your role here today?
Yeah, so representative is patent for licensees, the paralegals and lawyers. I'm not representing.
No, there's non-licensed. I'm going to correct you. There's non-licensed
I'm operating
representative. So let me clarify. What were you hoping to do today? What were you hoping to do today? Go ahead, sir. I couldn't hear you.
Your screen is breaking out. Can you repeat your question?
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to turn my video off. Let's see if this helps, okay? So I'll ask my question again, sir. So what were you hoping to do today? What were you thinking your role here today would be?
My role here today is an advocate for Nishka on behalf of Nishka Green, given the fact that Nishka does not speak commercial English, which is known as legalese, but I do, and I comprehend the legal definition of words, so there'll be no word magics or manipulation here today. I am here to speak competently on her behalf and get the remedy that's necessary pursuant to fundamental justice.
So it is the intention of Nishka not to provide testimony today. Is that my understanding?
Well, she is here to provide if needs may be, but I'm the one speaking on her behalf. If she's going to provide any submission, it would be after I told her what to say.
Oh, I don't. Okay, so I'm just writing notes. When you can't see what I'm doing and I'm silent, I'm writing notes. I'm just telling you I'm writing notes.
And given the nature of this case, an order was given when we were told that there was going to be an adjournment, especially.
Wait, hang on, I'm not there. We're not there yet, okay? Just hang tight. We're not there.
Okay.
So, okay. So I appreciate that you're not a legal representative, but you believe that you are here as Nishka's advocate, and it's your intention to speak on her behalf, and she will only speak after you tell her what to say. Did I record that correctly?
Well, I will suggest what I think would be appropriate. That way, as I stated, she does not speak legalese or commercial English. So I would have to give her the appropriate legal term to use, so that way she does not put herself into a tacit agreement by contracting with using words that mean something else. So once again, Nishka is also Indigenous. I'm an Indigenous man as well. I am the chief, and I owe a responsibility to the members of my nation. So I'm hereby operating pursuant to the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People. Canada itself, corporate Canada, is a signatory to that, which means that they're in acknowledgement. This board is operating under the subsidiary of Canada, Ontario. It's binded thereby pursuant to Section 52, subsection 1 of the Constitution Act of 1982.
But that's if there's a constitutional question, and we're not there yet.
We
haven't got there yet. Okay. Well, hang tight. I have to get to that, okay, to see if there was a serious error. Representative Zarnett, what are your submissions with respect to Chief Micheal?
My submission is that pursuant to Section 23 of the Statutory Powers Procedure Act, the board has the right to make orders and give such directions in a proceeding to prevent abuse of its processes. The representative says that he will be telling the witness what to say, that somehow there is some sort of legalese that the tenant will be required to say, which is absolutely incorrect. That's really not the proper role of a representative. And as the representative has not even provided you a legal name, he can go by any name he would, well, within reason, within any name that he wants to be known as. But the failure to provide a name means that the tribunal should exclude a person who's not licensed under the Law Society Act so as to prevent an abusive process.
No, Chief Micheal, no, not yet, please.
All right.
All right, so
I'm not even getting into the rest of it, Madam Chair.
Okay, so with respect to Chief Micheal's role here today, I think that I explained and I made it quite clear that the board has the right to control its own process. And when an individual is unwilling to provide a first or a last name, it's an unreasonable expectation that we don't know an individual's identity. We must know an individual's identity. And as I said, we have the right to control our own process. So I'm going to be denying Chief Micheal's role here with respect to speaking words on behalf of the tenant. You can be here as an advocate, as support, but you don't have a representation role. And by failing to provide us with a first and last name, you've really kind of limited our ability to control our own process. So Chief Micheal, it will be Nishka that I will be hearing from today on this matter. Chief Micheal.
Well, first and foremost, since you want to go ahead and make such ultra-virus order and overreaching your authority, I would definitely go ahead and ask you for your delegation of authority, because I've already given mine, and no part of the act stated that I need to give a legal name. I just told you I am indigenous, so therefore I do not have a legal name. I go by Chief Micheal. That is my title.
I didn't ask for a legal name. I asked for a first and a last name.
Chief Micheal. Chief
Thank you.
Micheal.
All right, Representative Zarnett, any other submissions with what you've just heard from Chief Micheal?
No, I don't. I mean, I'm not sure who this person is, and
neither am I. That's
he's
fine.
refused to provide a name. He's already said that he's evaded your question. I mean, he's not a party. He's supposed to be a representative, and someone who represents someone has to uphold the same standards as someone who is a representative licensed by the Law Society. He's failed to do so. There's no reason to permit him to, quote unquote, represent the party who can adequately speak for herself in this matter.
And I've made my ruling on that. Adequately.
And with respect, and I know that you don't have to justify yourself, Madam Chair. I know that you don't, but you have more than you have authority by legislation and an order in council that gives you your authority. So I know that you don't have to speak for yourself, but you have the statutory authority to proceed.
I do. You are correct. So Chief Micheal, you can be here as moral. No, Chief Micheal.
May I
Chief Micheal? No. I have made my ruling, Chief Micheal.
Controlled in this hearing. So
Chief Micheal.
You are Mr.
Chief Micheal. So Chief Micheal, I'm not hearing any further from you. If the tenant wishes to further her review request, then I'm going to need to hear from Nishka herself. Do you understand?
Well, to speak on her behalf, and I will allow her to do it again verbally. Go ahead, Nishka. For the record.
No, Nishka, hi there. So if you want to proceed with your review request, it's you that I must hear from. Okay?
Must hear from me. I've already given my authority to Chief Micheal to speak on my behalf. I feel like you are being discriminative against me. As I say, in the last time and in this time, I am not as articulate in the legalese terms, and I don't feel comfortable doing it. And if you are discriminating against me, it's not a fair hearing. And I'm very curious as to who's having this hearing. Is it Mr. Zarnett or is it you?
So I've made it quite clear, ma'am, that the board must control its own process. And in order for me to control this process, no, ma'am, I am more than willing. I am wanting to hear your review request. It's your request, and I want to hear your review request. But I have made my ruling with respect to the role of Chief Micheal. If he chooses to give me a first and last name and act as a representative, that's fine. But you are here. The good thing for you is I don't speak in legalese. That's the thing. I'm not speaking in legalese.
Under what authority are you giving this? Because he did give his title, he gave his first and last, and you're asking for
He did not give me his first and last name. He gave me Chief Micheal. So
Chief first, Micheal.
Chief Micheal, thank you. I appreciate you weighing in. If the tenant wishes to further her serious error application, it is the tenant I must hear from.
Well, I was the one that was speaking on the matter prior to, so we can't have
Sir, I'm going to ask you to stop, sir. Sir,
please do not refer to me as a you're being
the tenant, the challenge that you have. So I'm going to the tenant, the challenge that you have is this your Chief Micheal, please stop speaking. I am just going to mute you. Okay. So Chief Micheal, I've muted you. All right. So it's really important that the tenant hear this. I do want to hear your review request. I want to hear if the previous member made a serious error with respect to the finding on the constitutional question. I want to hear that, but I'm going to hear it from you. Are you wanting to continue with your application? You can unmute now.
Can you please put on your?
Yeah, I'll put it back on, but you told me it was all splotchy. So there we go. I'm going to put it back on. I always operate with my camera on, but when you asked me, when I said I tried to turn it off. So again, I can repeat that if you want. It's important that I hear your submissions with respect to the constitutional question, how you believe the previous member made a mistake. I want to hear that, but I'm going to hear it from you. Do you want to proceed with your application or not?
Why do you need to hear it from me when I am allowed to have somebody speak as an advocate for me? Why are you discriminating against me? That's what I would like to know.
And how is it discrimination?
Because I am permitted to have somebody advocate for me, and you guys keep referring to Chief Micheal as a representative, and he's not a representative. And that is why you continue to say he cannot advocate for me. He is not my representative. He's not here on behalf of the Law Society. He's here on behalf of my advocate. And you're permitting me, you're discriminating against me for that. So yes, he is going to be.
Anything else?
It's procedural unfairness.
Sorry, Madam Chair, if I may, when you're done hearing this.
I will get to you.
You are not running the hearing. You're not supposed to be running the hearing. And from we've gotten here, that's all
He's not running the hearing.
Is running the hearing, and he's telling you,
Mishka, he's not running the hearing. I'm taking submissions from every party. I'm coming back to Representative Zarnett in a minute to hear his submissions on what you've just said as well. My job is to get submissions on both sides, okay? And that's what I'm trying to do. Is there anything else, Mishka?
It's procedural unfairness.
Okay. Anything else? Okay.
And
all right, Representative Zarnett, on the issue of discrimination and procedural fairness, do you have any submissions that you would like to make?
I'm not finished. As an Indigenous woman under the UNDRIP, I am permitted to have someone to speak from my tribe on my behalf, and that as an Indigenous woman, and you should be aware of that.
Do you honor truth and reconciliation 94 calls to action?
Thank you, Chief Micheal. For now, thank you, Chief Micheal. All right. So from Representative Zarnett, the submissions with respect to procedural unfairness, discrimination, and the ability to have someone speak for her when the actual party is here. Submissions on that, please. You're on mute.
Under the Statutory Powers Procedure Act, there's a definition of representative means in respect of a proceeding to which the act applies, somebody authorized under the Law Society Act to represent a person. Further, Section 10 states a party to a proceeding may be represented by a representative. And then further on, it talks about exclusion of witnesses, representatives. So a representative is someone who either acts as or serves in the same function as a representative pursuant to the Statutory Powers Procedure Act. If a representative fails to provide such as a name or fails to, listen to your directions, as has happened throughout, there is nothing discriminatory about that at all, Madam Chair. You have the right and obligation to run a fair hearing for both sides. And the failure of the putative representative who has not followed your direction, you have the right under subsection 23 sub 3 to exclude a person, notwithstanding whatever status they might have. It doesn't matter the status. So that's, sorry, this is not how, anyway, Madam Chair, so you've already made a decision. There's nothing discriminatory about it. It's permitted and authorized by the Statutory Powers Procedure Act. there's absolutely no basis upon which, that he's talking and he's trying to talk over me, Madam Chair. I don't know how I can do
I
better.
agree. I agree.
And so this only buttresses.
I'm going to jump in. I'm going to jump in. This is my problem, right? If Chief Micheal refuses to give me a first and last name, he is handcuffing the board to be able to control its own process. You don't get to interrupt. You don't get to control when I've already made a decision. This is becoming very challenging, right? So, no, sir, please stop.
Not a second.
So, Nishka, do you?
You've cut out, Madam Chair.
You want to proceed with your application? On my end, you look frozen. So, individual Nishka, would you like to proceed?
We can't hear you.
To the parties, can you hear me?
Oh, we can hear you now, Madam Chair.
Okay. I turned my camera off again because I think there might be some unstable internet here. So, but that won't prevent anything. That often happens with parties, generally not me though. So we're going to take pause for one more minute because I'm trying to get a sense of how this is going to possibly be able to proceed when I don't have cooperation on the applicant, the requesters, the moving party's side. So just bear with me for one moment and I'll rejoin you very shortly.
Recording.
The individual as Chief Micheal. I explained the challenges presented with respect to the limitations of his role and the role he intended and the inability to control our own process. And by example, Chief Micheal's continual interruptions. The board doesn't have any recourse, right? Because we don't have a first and last name to levy any remedy against Chief Micheal for the continual interruptions after I made my ruling, right? And then I have the individual Nishka who seemingly is, precipitating Chief Micheal's obstruction. So Nishka herself is also obstructing the process, okay? So as I have said, I've made my ruling on Chief Micheal, and Chief Micheal can stay in the room as, to be some support, but Chief Micheal cannot speak on behalf of the individual who is here. And the ongoing interruptions are causing significant delay before the board, right? So to the tenant, to Nishka, I'll put this to you this way, that as I've said a couple of times to you, I really want to hear your submissions with respect why you believe a serious error was made in the original order. But you're refusing to engage with me and deferring to Chief Micheal. And in light of my ruling, you are also precipitating this delay. So I'm going to ask the parties to familiarize yourself with costs, board costs. And I kind of reference that as, a remedy where we need a first and a last name, right? So because there is, in my opinion, there's equal participation in the obstruction from proceeding from the individual Nishka, that I want to address costs. So essentially what costs are, there's different types of costs. But when you look at costs, board costs, it is designed where there is significant delay, intentional delay, refusal to participate, so on and so forth. And board costs come at a maximum of $700. Okay, so I'm going to first ask the individual Nishka that in order to proceed today, because I've made my ruling, all right, it would be you that I must hear from. If it's you that wants to answer, and tell me the submissions, the board wants to hear that, all right? But it's you, it's not Chief Micheal. If you refuse and continue along the line that it is your right that Chief Micheal speak your words, then I'm going to take submissions on costs. Then I need to describe the impact. So what would happen is we'd get submissions on costs and quantum and things of that nature. Then I set a deadline. And what happens, we would adjourn. And what happens is if the party who has costs levied against them doesn't pay the costs to the board at the date set, you do not get to further your application. All right. So this is what I mean. The board has the ability to control its own process. So the individual Nishka, I'm going to come back to you now that I've given an explanation. And Nishka, do you want to provide your submissions with respect to why you believe that order contained a serious error? So Nishka, I turn to you.
Okay, Mr. Adjudicator, before we can even get to that, we need to pass we need to address that you're just being discriminating against my rights as an indigenous living woman. And my question to you is do you have any proof that Chief Micheal has another name? Because if he
I asked for a first and last name
and told you his name was Wendy, you accepted. He told his first and last name, Chief Micheal. Do you have any proof that he has another name?
So Chief Micheal, let's say.
Sorry,
So no, I'm going to answer
No,
the 10
we're
questions.
not
So Chief
talking to
Micheal, no, so hang on. Everybody stop. So Chief Micheal, let's say that I were to allow you to proceed as agent or representative, whatever the case may be. And let's say that due to conduct, we're just hypothetical, that the board were to levy costs against you for conduct. And if the board were to address the order and a sum of money against Chief Micheal, does Chief Micheal get notification of that? And does Chief Micheal pay that?
Well, if there's a what do you say, a misconduct against me and I'm guilty of it, sure, isn't that how the law operates? You got to be guilty beyond reasonable doubt of something. So clearly, yeah. So
how can let's say that there were costs levied for representative costs? How does Representative Zarnett go after? You're interrupting. How does Representative Zarnett pursue a claim against you under Chief Micheal? Is that how you're registered? What legal recourse does he have to pursue and collect against you? Do you know that?
Why would Mrs. Zarnett want to pursue and collect against me? What have I done to them?
As I said, Chief Micheal, I'm asking a hypothetical question, right? Because it's all about the ability to control process. And if there is a first and last name, Representative Zarnett or the board would be able to collect against you. Without that, there might not be the ability to collect. So I'm asking you the question, if there was some form of monies to be collected, does Chief Micheal satisfy any type of action against you?
I just told you if I've committed an offense and proven guilty beyond reasonable doubt, yes. But we all have our own imagination as well, Ms. Adjudicator. I could have spilled mines as well, but it has no basis on the merit of the case right now. And the fact of the matter is the only thing that's being impeded on here today is procedural fairness and my rights to identify, which also put you in a position of discriminatory action. And I don't know what binds you to your bench that you're sitting on, because you're not regulated under Section 96 of the Constitution, so I can't even hold you accountable to the Judges Act. You're a member of the board. So under what authority, what is your delegation of authority? I remember you gave your preamble earlier on, but I still did not hear your delegation of authority, because you're going to say under the Residential Tenancy Act, which also would have to pass a constitutional test. Therefore, you're bounded.
So that's been asked and answered already, right? I have an order in council that says I can do what I am here doing today.
doing today?
You can look that up. I have an order in council.
Asking you, we're having a competent conversation.
Okay, so we're actually not having a conversation, sir. I'm taking submissions. So again, I'm going to put it, so we've covered the discrimination aspect, okay? Representative Zarnett, we're going to take this in bite-sized pieces because this is causing significant delay and I have other matters. So what are the landlord's submissions with respect to the discrimination? That I would like to hear from you on that.
There is absolutely no discrimination. You've not treated any party differently than any other party who would come to a hearing with a representative saying, I'm going to be telling the tenant what to say or the landlord what to say. That is not the role of a representative. That's the role of an advocate. That, it's clearly not only just the name issue, but there are multiple issues that support excluding the individual who has identified themselves as Chief Micheal. So with the greatest respect, for me, what's more important is when somebody says, I'm going to tell my client what to say in this hearing. That is not a representative. And because representatives do not tell their clients what to say and do not give evidence. And so everything it's contested here today. So the fact that just the name is not the issue is the conduct. Continually interfering, even in my submissions right now, not telling you that they will not follow the duties of an advocate who's licensed by telling the party what to say. That is, in my opinion, that's enough to just, and any person who would come before you, any representative or any putative representative, whether they were paid or not, whether they were exempt pursuant to the Law Society bylaw or not, that disqualifies them as an abusive process, Madam Chair. So the decision that was made was supported by multiple grounds. Sorry, he's just interrupting me again.
You're interrupting, Chief Micheal. You're interrupting. So I'm moving on to costs because we're not getting very far. So now I'm going to take submissions. I'm taking submissions with respect to costs because this is causing delay. And again, guideline 3, the board expects parties and their paid representatives to act reasonably in pursuing their applications or defending their positions. This includes bringing applications only where there's substantial grounds. It includes taking all required procedural steps, not taking unnecessary ones, and acting in a courteous and orderly way at a hearing. Individual Nishka, please stop for a minute. I'm moving on now. I've got submissions from everybody on the discrimination. So now I'm taking submissions with respect.
Because I'm telling you that you're freezing.
Your screen is freezing. We can't hear you.
Like Mr. Zarnett froze, we thought he was finished. So you're being very discriminative.
So again, Nishka, I had my camera off and then you demanded that I turn it back on. So would you like me to turn my camera off again?
He's on your end, not mine.
Okay, so I'm not getting internet messages, but would you like me to turn my camera off again to see if that helps?
I would like it to stop freezing because Mr.
Let's try that. Okay, but if you demand I turn it back on, do you understand that we might have the same problem?
But that's not unfair to you. That can't be unfair to me because you and Mr. Zarnett are freezing and you're using.
Oh, I don't disagree, ma'am. But I had my camera off and you demanded it back on, so I turned it back on. Well, so I didn't hear you because you were actually frozen. You're correct. I didn't hear you when you were asking me to turn it back on just now, or turn it off just now. So my camera is off. Can you hear me?
Fairness, when Mr. Zarnett froze, I did not know he was not finished. We did not know he wasn't, and you used that as a tactic to say that we were interrupting, and we were not interrupting. He froze. We thought he was finished.
Oh, well,
again, unfair procedure.
So you can get a copy of the hearing recording if you want, ma'am, because Chief Micheal has repeatedly interrupted throughout the entire process. All right, not all of it is technical issues.
And you're
Chief Micheal, I have given my ruling. All right. So individual
That's
Nishka,
the
would
fair
you
ruling.
like to give your submissions now with respect to costs? And I'm talking to individual Nishka. Would you like to address the issue of costs?
Talk about costs.
We can't go any further because I will not be discriminated against. I am an Indigenous woman. I'm an Indigenous living woman, and I have the right to have a representative, not a advocate. And you keep referring to Chief Micheal as a representative. And what's very frustrating is when Mr. Zarnett keeps referring to him as a representative, no matter how many times we say on the record, he is not a representative, you are not correcting him. You're allowing him to be discriminative and continuously presuming him to be a representative. And he's not. He even called me a client, and I'm not. And at no time are you correcting him on that. And it's on the record. So now you tell me, how is that not discriminative?
So now we're going to move on to board costs. So again, I've invited the parties, Chief Micheal. So unfortunately, you're leaving me with little opportunity here to proceed today. So I'm going to take submissions on board costs. And if the tenant does not want to participate, the tenant is making that choice on her own. I'm going to invite now the individual Nishka to give me board costs. So as I was trying to explain, so ordering board costs, it is not related with respect to, essentially it is ordered to encourage party conduct, right? And it's clear that we're having a challenge today with party conduct. And what I want to hear from you, Chief Micheal, I would like to hear from Nishka, please. And you're obstructing that process.
No, you're
Nishka, do you want to give any submissions?
You're speaking to me. We're not speaking on submission, we're speaking on the constitutional question. You can't violate that. And you know that. So
we're not speaking, we haven't even got there. We haven't even gotten to the constitutional question.
Whatever deal Mr. Zarnett custody you behind closed doors, I'm going to work with you. I'm going to expose all of you.
No, Chief Micheal.
I'm well aware of Mr. Zarnett and his corruption
Chief
with the
Micheal,
board.
So I want to hear from Chief Micheal. I would actually like to hear from Nishka on the issue of costs. Do you want to give me submissions on costs?
Whatever deal you cut with Mr. Zarnett is not going to work today. I'm well aware of these deals.
I don't know Representative Zarnett, Chief Micheal, but I've made my ruling and the conduct here is ungovernable. I'm finding you to be very ungovernable.
Yeah,
individual Nishka, would you like to give, I'm giving you an opportunity.
You speak more than you listen. So, as an educator,
individual Nishka, I am going to give Nishka the opportunity to provide submissions with respect to costs. I've explained guideline 3. Ma'am, would you like to give any submissions with respect to costs?
We're not speaking on costs. We're not there.
So the answer is no.
And I do have a
Representative Zarnett, do you want to speak?
Thank you very much.
I'm just going to mute the tenant.
Yes, thank you. So, Madam Chair, I'm not going to speak to costs. The landlord is not requesting costs. The landlord is requesting that the review be dealt with, that you hear from the tenant. You've asked the tenant on a number of occasions to give submissions with respect to the review itself. And the tenant, if the tenant is being interrupted by the representative who is, as you've indicated, ungovernable, if that is the tenant, if the tenant permits that representative, instead of saying, stop talking for me and give her an opportunity to make the review, if she doesn't, then I'm asking that the review be dismissed. I'm not really interested. I'm not asking for costs. The arrears are significant. There's ongoing prejudice as a result of the stay. So we're just asking that the review be dealt with, and that's the real reason why the review was granted. That's the real reason for all of these processes. That has nothing to do with any rights that have been in any way impaired. So, Madam Chair, that's what we're asking. We'd like to proceed with the review, give an opportunity to the tenant. If the tenant doesn't instruct the putative representative, who should be told not to speak, if that person continues to speak, then the tenant has nothing to support the review. We'll request that the review be dismissed and the stay be lifted. That's what we're asking for today, Madam Chair. We'd just like to move forward, get on with this right away.
All right. So to the individual, Nishka, do you want to proceed with your
the board has an obligation to
Representative Zarnet?
expeditiously deal. Sorry, that's it. I'm done.
Yeah, I know. So individual Nishka, do you want to proceed with your review today? Yes or no?
Yes, we are going to continue. And just to let you know, Chief Micheal has power of attorney.
So do I have paperwork that says that?
It was not, no, I did not need to provide that because based on the Constitution, he is my advocate and he's allowed to speak on my behalf. So the fact that I need to provide
individual Nishka, I will deal with you today and you only. So I've made my ruling with respect to Chief Micheal. You can challenge that in another forum if you so choose. But individual Nishka, if we proceed today on your review request, it will be you that I hear from. If not, Representative Zarnet is asking that the board dismiss your review request and the stay lifted. But Chief Micheal, please stop
You're
talking.
violating my rights.
Okay. So in other words, you don't want to participate today. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to adjourn the hearing for today. And I am going to invite you to give me submissions with respect to what you believe the quantum of cost should be if because we need to be able to proceed, right? So you're obstructing, you're assisting in the obstruction of this hearing, ma'am. And
no,
ma'am, you are assisting in the obstruction of this hearing. So in order to proceed, it has to be you that I hear from. And I'm willing to do that today.
Telling you that
you are refusing.
No,
she's not refusing.
I never, at no time did I refuse.
Chief Micheal, she is refusing, Chief Micheal.
You keep putting words in my mouth. And again, Mr. Zarnet had referred to him as a representative. And no matter how many times we put it on record,
you've said that. Individual Nishka, you are delaying. You are delaying the hearing.
I'm not delaying.
Individual Nishka, you're delaying the hearing.
I'm not delaying.
So, would you like to provide submissions on costs? So the board maximum is 700. I'm inviting you to provide submissions on costs. Would you like to do that?
We're not there yet because you're denying my rights.
Okay, so you're refusing to provide submissions on costs?
On the record, I am not refusing. You're denying my rights.
Okay, thank you very much. Representative Zarnet, anything further?
Sure. So, Madam Chair, if I may be just given a moment. Would like the tenant to be given an opportunity to make submissions regarding her review. If she declines to make submissions, the review should be dismissed.
You've already said that, Representative Zarnet. You've said that. And I'm giving the tenant an opportunity, which I have done. And the tenant is continuing to refuse that. And now the choice that I am making is to levy costs. And if the tenant doesn't pay the costs, then the tenant doesn't get to further this application.
Yes. So the landlord requests that the review be dismissed and that the board, I have no submissions regarding costs.
Yeah.
That the board will, you've given an opportunity for the tenant to make submissions regarding costs, and she has said you have no jurisdiction or authority to do so. And therefore, whatever costs you deem appropriate, the landlord requests that the review be dismissed and the stay be lifted immediately. And whatever determination that the board wants to make regarding costs, it can. I have no submissions, and I've not heard any submissions from the tenant other than you have no jurisdiction. So I think the hearing, so Madam Chair, with the greatest respect, you've given a full opportunity for the tenant to make submissions regarding the review and costs, and they have not done so. And therefore, I'm asking that the review be dismissed, the stay be lifted, and make whatever order as to costs.
The constitutional question has not been addressed.
That's because we can't get there, ma'am, because your refusal to participate.
I have never
made my ruling. You have refused to participate, ma'am, because I made my ruling. So I'm going to be adjourning this matter now. Time on the clock is 2:54. So I'm adjourning this at 2:54. You will get an interim order from me, ma'am, and then you can investigate whatever course of action you choose to take. You are free to go.
We ask that the interim order dismiss the review and lift the stay.
I know that. I got
thank
that.
you. Okay,
everybody, you're free to go. I'm not dealing with the matter today. There has been over an hour dedicated to this, and we're not getting anywhere. You're free to go.
But you said it might take all day.
You are free to go. You're free to
recourse. Procedural fairness has to be granted, and that's what it is. There will be recourse.